Welcome back to another top 3 video, folks. Today we're touching upon the War on Terror, which is the US, the UK, and several other countries' military involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan post 9/11. Now, I want to be clear, the one we're looking at today, Shock Force 2, it's really more of a fictional war on terror. You're not actually, if I understand this correctly, you're not technically in Iraq or Afghanistan or anything like that. In fact, I think the location is Syria, but of course it is still a a strategy game set in the Middle East with the clear implication of it being a war on terror strategy game. We're going to jump right in just so I can show you guys how the game works. There's a bunch of different battles. You can also, of course, do an entire campaign. We're not going to be doing that today. But once you jump in, you can select essentially how you want to approach a certain engagement. So for instance, if you want to do turn-based or if you want to do real-time strategy sort of thing, I recommend the turn-based one. And we're just going to jump right in with the USMC, United States Marine Corps, the Prophet and the Mountain. As you can see over here, we're playing the one-player turn-based, but if you want, you can do 2 players. And we're going to select the warrior difficulty. Now, we're not playing through the entire battle. We're just going to touch upon it so you guys can see what to expect. I would also ask at this point that you please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the video. Also, make sure to click that bell icon. That seems to be a huge thing for YouTube. So as you can see here, we have sort of the information regarding the entire mission, and this one does take place in Syria. And as you can see, locals warn of a Syrian Special Forces forward observer team hiding out on top of a wooded hill and calling down harassing mortar fire. Additional enemy may be hiding at the location, but details are scarce. And of course, this is the initiating message you will get with these missions. And of course, you jump in and you're going to get a little map like this. As you can see, we've got a vehicle in it, etc. Now, one thing we want to do, instantly get out of this location, and we are moving towards that area. But I think what I'm going to do, I've got another battle that I pulled up here, and I prefer to show you guys that one. This one is not a large battle, and of course the scale of the battles is totally up to you. Whether you want a large, small, whatever, it's completely up to you. We just drove past. Oh boy. All right, let's jump to that other battle and give you guys a look. The game is a little bit dated, I'm not going to lie. The look for both of these games, both Shock Force and Shock Force 2, is a little old school. But you absolutely get used to it, and fans of Combat Mission won't really give a damn. We've actually pushed these vehicles forward, but the enemies are over here, so I'm going to have to dismount these guys. But look at that. We've got a beautiful automatic grenade launcher. This is just some of the vehicles or vehicle bonuses you can get. I'm going to dismount. I know we're on a road, but at the same time, we've got an anti-tank guided missile right there. So I'm going to dismount here as well, and we are going to hunt in that general direction. I wouldn't want to keep the sides of these vehicles pointed at the enemy, but I also want to get into that mosque for this particular mission. So I am going to push forward and decide what to do at that point. We'll kind of hunt a little bit. There's all sorts of things you can do in this game, though. You can pop smoke. You can just dismount the units from the vehicle, take cover in, for instance, this little defilade. It's completely up to you. We're just going to play out the next minute, kind of see what happens. But so far, we had some pretty good fire coming out of that vehicle. And as you can see, the troops are, of course, war on terror looking units for sure. And actually, they're firing that automatic grenade launcher at range. And as you can see, our men have the wherewithal to get into the trench. Unfortunately, we did get hit with that ATGM before the men could get out. Well, it's some of the brutality you can face in a conflict like this. Our guys are looking for targets, as you can see. Let's take a look over here. This vehicle actually made it, and we can see enemies all the way out there. Of course, vehicle doing all the work. We'll have to dismount and get into that objective. Keep it up, boys. Keep it up. Got a hell of a firing position right here. And it looks like that vehicle might finally be taken out, but that gunner and that group, they are still active on duty. Now, this next one, in my opinion, is a super controversial game, but a masterpiece. And the reason it's controversial is it focuses on an element of what you could call, I guess, the global war on terror, the Syrian War. And this one actually tells it from a sort of Russian perspective, or so I've been told. Now, there is a battlefield element in this game, but there's also just a basic story that I think deserves a lot of attention.
It will turn out like this. It seemed like everything was so far from us. Civil disturbances, people with guns under a black banner. We thought it was somewhere far away, on the other side of the TV screen. Our village seemed too small to be affected by this. After all, what kind of conflict could you have with a shoemaker from the edge of town that you went to school with? Or with the baker's children from the neighboring street that played soccer with your children in the evenings? We were so naive then. I remember that night, our last quiet evening. We had used all my accumulated vacation time and taken a long trip. Our second honeymoon, as my wife called it. We'd just come home. It was the last night I could sit at home just watching TV.
Anwar, dear, come to bed.
Yes, of course. I just wanted to get caught up to speed. It's been almost a month since I watched the news.
You have to be at work early tomorrow, don't you remember? So what's new?
Nothing important.
Now, this is the crazy part, is who are you? What are you doing in the game? You're a police officer in Syria. Yeah.
Salam, Wazir.
Anwar, I'm happy to hear from you. Are you already on your way to work?
Yes, Captain. First day back on the job.
Well, hurry. A lot has happened in the month you were gone. When you get here, we'll take a service vehicle and check out the outskirts of the city. Civilians have been calling in tips about strange people there.
Okay, Wazir. I'm coming.
Now, if you take a look at what we've got here, first of all, I'm just going to show you guys sort of the intro to the game. But there is a battle thing called Battlefields where you're just doing good old battles. It's that simple. Now, of course, we want to get him out of the building here. And we're going to send this fellow, our police officer, over to the location where the captain recommended us to go. And let's see if we can find anything of value. As you can see, piloting vehicles, very intuitive, but I want to get to some action. And so we're going to have to drive to the police station, and actually the police station is going to be this way, so silly me. And there goes Wazir. Let's see what's going on at the police station, guys. Again, this is the start of the Syrian civil war. And we got some snipers up there. Let's get out and let's talk to the captain. Of course, you can occupy any buildings you wish. Totally up to you.
Hi, Chief.
You made it. Well, get in and let's go to the outskirts of the city. Wahid, the head of the police department the next town over, called. He asked to come and discuss something in person.
Okay, I'm sure that Walid is just going to want to discuss, you know, cultural matters and things like that. I'm sure he's not going to ambush us. Oh, that's right, we gotta get the chief. Come on, chief, let's go. Also like that the police vehicle looks more like a fire vehicle.
Went to visit my wife's relatives in Lebanon. Sea and sun. It was good. I wanted to get back home, though. They show so much on TV.
It's worse than it looks on TV. Some armed men and clerics from the other places have been exciting people. The nearby police station blew up. The military put up roadblocks.
Yeah, I saw. What does Wahid want?
I don't know. Someone shot up an
Pathfinding could be improved.
Maybe he wants to talk about that. We'll find out soon enough. Stop here and wait for me.
Chief, if it's that serious...
No.
Anwar, where are you? Ilyas, is that you? What, did you miss me? I took the chief to meet someone on the outskirts of town. I'm still there, waiting. Pretty back on the job, eh? Come back soon. We're about to have tea. Oh, are you on duty today? Great. I think the chief will be finished soon, and we'll head back. Keep the kettle hot.
Yeah, as you can imagine, things aren't going to go well for the chief, and this is going to lead to, in my opinion, the start of the game and what makes this such a great game.
It's good to see you too. They're my new friends, and if you're smart, they'll be yours too.
What are you talking about?
The times are changing.
I'm gonna avoid that, but obviously they killed the boss, and now we have to defend against an attack.
I only heard the conversation.
I cannot wait.
Wazir said something about men with weapons. They told him we had to let them into our city. Sound the alarm, take up defense. Got it. I'm already raising our defenses. We got a platoon out for training that set out this morning, but I can't reach them now. Try to go find them and bring them back into the city. We'll have to hold out until then. Yes, I'm on my way to them. Hold on.
All right, guys, so now we are defending against the building, and you can actually see the Russian writing. The game was originally scripted in Russian, but look at that.
Hello, Karim.
Yes. Do you know what time it is? Why are you calling so early?
Get up. We need you at work ASAP.
It's my day off. What happened?
The chief is dead. Some
Here we
dogs
go,
attacked
guys. The
city.
terrorists are
And
attacking.
we're out for reinforcements, and we're defending the station. Do you have your rifle with you?
Of course I do. Okay, my brother. I will be there soon.
All right, guys, so we are getting a sniper here. I want to save just so I can come back to this later. But of course, this is just the start. And of course, the Syrian civil war is taking off. You're playing as a police officer. You need to defend against the terrorist onslaught. And so much happens. You meet special forces. You know, you have to defend against IEDs. You name it, you can do it in this game.
Attack.
What? I had shots.
Getting those snipers up.
I don't know, but there are a lot of them, and they've come with combat vehicles. Wazir said you have an RPG buried in your yard from the war with Israel?
Of course. What kind of Arab would I be if I didn't have an RPG? buried
Oh
in
my God, that
yard?
line
I'll
is
get my
just.
guns and I'll be there
Somebody clip that line if you have seen it. That's kind of one of the worst lines. What kind of Arab wouldn't have an RPG buried in his backyard? And actually, we already have enemies attacking from the north here. We can actually see the little red dots. And there we go, guys. We've got our RPGs. Should defend against vehicles fairly well. And here we go, another wave of attackers.
One of the buildings on the way. We can take it back. Get to it.
So we actually do need to try to retake a building.
We and our detachment are returning from the checkpoint. We've got a flat tire on the pickup, but the soldiers brought us an Ural. And water! It's a massacre over here! Hurry!
Still defending that police station. Now, they do want us to take a building, but we're not going to take it just yet. We're going to wait for Onward to come back with the men. And as you can see, we've actually got some men inside the vehicle here, which we can use to support the current attack or defense of the police station. Of course, we can use this vehicle to unload the men anywhere we want. And from here, use them as an offensive tactical force. Anyway, I've touched upon Syrian Warfare a lot. I could honestly do a whole Let's Play on this series, and I have. So you should check it out on the channel, and make sure to jump in there and check out these Syrian Warfare videos that we have. This would definitely be my number 2 for Middle Eastern war games. And again, there's a whole battlefield section which will let you play massive battles. It's entirely up to you guys. Now, this next one I think is going to be controversial to the viewer just because it's probably a game you've never even heard of, and I gotta say, it's very different from any war game I've played. I really think it's more of a tactical strategy game, but I thought we should add it because for Middle East wars, this one really brings the reality close to home, and I'm pretty sure it's a Middle East conflict sort of in the future, as it were. So as you can see, we do have the operations element, and I must say this game works on a much smaller operational scale, unlike the other two. It's not on a massive map, it's in a city, usually. So let's do the campaign here, just so you guys get an idea of the game, and it's definitely an alternative history, but they all are when you really think about it. but this one more than most.
Day 724, Capital City. The mostly peaceful civil war continues. The federal police quelled an
Peaceful
Islamist
civil war.
in the western quarter by dispersing the crowd with Hellfire missiles.
Jeez.
Notable actions for crisis troop elements inside the capital city limits. Ember North completed a cash recovery with no rounds exchanged, capturing 2 Dishkas and 5,000 rounds of 12.7 ammunition. The element also seized 3 dozen 55-gallon drums with water and 200 pounds of rice, enough to sustain a company-sized element for a week. Tech processed a mesh network router captured on site and has identified the metadata suggesting Objective Vanderbilt was recently at this cache. Vanderbilt is one of the mercs hired by the IRE network to keep this place on fire. He's been on the client's high-value target list since before the last coup. Hornet. The client asked for Crisis Troop Ember on this by name. This is high priority. The company trusts you to conclude this expediently.
Roger that. China, get everyone topped off and jocked up. We got a full night ahead.
Roger that, Hornet.
Well, sounds like takeout again. What are they serving downstairs, China?
Nothing but 100% organic. 3-star Michelin-rated Auberian cuisine.
Goat slop and dirty rice?
God slap and dirty rice.
At least these motherfuckers can make some coffee.
True story. I'm on my 2nd cup. Meet at the vehicles in 90 minutes.
Roger that.
So again, as you can imagine, this is a fictional country, fictional attacking country, etc. And it really focuses sort of on the special forces element, going in and wiping out terrorist leaders, kind of one by one. And in this one, we have an informant that has been captured. We need to try and bring this informant back. You can do everything from shooting to calling in drones in this game, to sometimes, not right now though, calling in air support. So we're going to first move this guy up. I'm just going to get him right here on the wall. And we know that there is a local national apartment nearby. So you get like information about all of the buildings you're up on. And eventually you'll get something like, for instance, terrorist hideout. Sahib Electronics Shop right to the left of us. And as you can see, it's kind of like a mix between our world and a fictional world because it mentions Iranian and Chinese-made home appliances, but we're in a country called Arabi. So it's not a real country, but it exists in our world. And actually, you can also decide in this game, and this is why, or one of the reasons why I picked it, you can decide to do super controversial things. Like, for instance, I'm not going to spell it out, but that's a civilian right there. Or could it be a terrorist? We don't know. We only really know once we start engaging. He could also give away our position, any number of different things. But for now, we're going to play it safe. And we are going to move over to the Shadow Emirate. That's going to be, of course, the terrorist group that we are facing here. And sure enough, I just saw one of them moving over there. That quote-unquote civilian ended up being a terrorist. Now we've got to try to do something to take him out quickly before he becomes a problem. So we can select an individual structure to get that intel. We're not going to call it in now, though. What I am going to do is take out that enemy. And there you go, guys. One target down, but we're no closer to finishing our mission. We need to continue up the street and find out what's going on. And sure enough, another terrorist right there. And we found out that this is a jihadist checkpoint for the Islamic Emirate. That's pretty serious, man. I'm hoping we can fire from this location because we're doing a lot of movement points. And unfortunately, I don't think we can. I'm going to try to move him up here and see if I can fire. Again, I think the range is going to be too far away to take the shot. Okay, no, he took the shot. He got him, guys. Target down. Let's move Ember 1-2 up here. And of course, it is called Team Ember. It seems kind of obvious, but might as well mention it. And I'm actually going to push them farther up the street. I want to get closer to our target. A threat. Okay, bullets has passed. They're distinct. Signature unambiguous. This is not the crude muzzle report of an AK-47. It is the understated lethality of an American-built war machine. Interesting. Okay. So we're trying to locate the house right now with the high value target so that we can save him. That's pretty much the idea here. So there is a shift change, and because of that, it looks like we're not going to have many of the terrorists. I'm pretty sure that is a civilian. But again, what we're going to do, we're going to hug this apartment building, and we're just going to continue moving past him. Mamluka Hotel. It's a jihadist front where recruits wait until their final posting. It's gotta be where the guy is. And we can break into these buildings, of course. We can cause an action here. But I'm not sure it's part of our actual mission. And yeah, definitely just a civilian, but you never know. And we're gonna have to check that building, I think. Maybe that building, not sure if it counts as a building, but we might need to actually split our forces here. Okay, nothing over there. Let's continue on past. And again, there is definitely an area of jihadist fighters here. Oh boy. 3 of them, guys. That is a big problem. We're going to try to shoot it out with them, but this is going to be a tough fight. And I want to be clear, the idea of the game is not about just getting into a fight. I would say that's a minimal element of the game. The idea is to extract your targets or kill enemy targets that that you're called in to kill terrorist leaders, things like that. But getting into a gunfight like this actually puts us at a disadvantage because now we're in a protracted gunfight with these elements. And of course, they could make our lives very, very difficult. Anyway, again, we've spent a lot of time on this game too. I'd love to keep on focusing on it. But if you guys want individual campaigns for the games, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. But those are my top 3 in terms of Middle East war games. And when I think Middle East, again, I'm really thinking about War on Terror, the Syrian Civil War, all of those conflicts that have already long since passed by. Well, yes and no. And less about more modern day conflicts. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. We didn't get to the informant, but I'm almost certain he's going to be in this building. We can extract him and move on to the next mission.